So we can see some typical heavy deployment around here from the Czechs and from the Germans as well. Some Kosaken coming up, stocks to Marder 3, three of them, alongside with the pack, and a few MG, two 50mm mortars and the 81mm, plus Jäger Pioneer and Leiter Jäger, Leiter Panzerschreck, Stormtroop, and the VK901. For the Czechs, they had some Churchill Force, Daimler OV, FFO Fusilier, converted gunners, Crusader AA, Cromwell 6, Zenitzer, 17-pounder, and an FFO MG42. A few of them comes with the half-track of the M3 half-track, especially the Zenitzer. There's also a few more deployment for the Czechs in the middle as well. Those include the Div2, 3 Daimler OVs, 2, 3 FFO Fusilier, 1 Zenitzer, a Vickers HMG, a Panzerschreck for the center, probably onto the assault for this flag, which, well, German had a little to defend. Radegger comes up with a few more infantry and close range options for them into the town, alongside with more Stormtroop and plenty of mortars aside. The Czechs had the very few Daimlers, the Zenitzer, converted gunners, and the FFO Fusilier as the whole all of their force in the northern town. It should be fine. This is a Maverick versus Maverick income battle, and we can already see some very nasty amounts of Czech forces coming into the center to cut off the flag. And the Germans are quite large advancements around. They have abandoned this flag as well to have a solid hold onto this southern flag and a few crunch into the southern side of this town. Whereas we have a few more Reiterjäger trying to come in where the flag has already been taken. Daimler OB tried to cover it alongside far right flank of itself. Female converted gunner and FFO Fusilier trying to come in as a reinforcement. The first minute reinforcement that flies is by some of those infantry with RAF Fusilier and a M5 A1 Stuart coming for as a support. The first engagement starts with the 50mm mortar trying to smoke off the northern flag around this area. Oh no, one volley of HE and another volley of smoke coming in. Down the south, the 50mm is spotted by the Daimler OV, which tries to smoke off the entrance of this light forest for the Reiterjäger and Jäger Pioneer. Mod 3H coming in tried to cover off the issue from the armored car, whilst with the center Reiterjäger coming in, that was being shut down by the Daimler OV as well. Mod 3H cannot really cover this flag as well as it could. There are still a few more Reiterjäger and Stormtroop inside the flag that's waiting to be taken out. For one side, Farid has done a pretty decent job on taking off the Zenitzer and the Skir, and just forcing that converted gunner and Daimler OV to step back, while it wouldn't. Cromwell 6 trying to fire at the Reiterjäger and Jäger Pioneer, they started to fall back as the NG42 stopped them from exiting their forest. Onto the town, very little micro around here. The Zenitzer tries to push in for Koenig as the 50mm had their smoke covering its crossroad. Now back to south, Marder 3H trying to move forward. There's only one Daimler OV around there. If things goes right, they could took out the Daimler OV within a few more shots, and also threatening the assault route coming from this side of the map. But this part of the open area is completely covered by the 17-pounder and Cromwell 6, where the Model 3 Edge had to use their MG34 to scare off the gunners and make sure this flag is safe for the German. Back there, Farid had also deployed a Pak-40, a few more flak guns back there. Those were the 20mm, so it wouldn't stop the air assault from the Czechs so far. Daimler OV comes out. They've taken a shot though by have probably taken a few shots by infantry AT or somewhere, the HE bombardment. That's nothing compared to Model 1 trying to again go against the Churchill 4 head on. Churchill 4 misses that shot, while the Marder had Churchill 4 misses 2 shots and the Marder kills it off, which puts the Germans at the upper hand. 17-pounder comes up. It had a few line of sight against the Marder that took it out, but Daimler OB was also down too. Up into the northern side, still not much around here. A few more shift order of HE volleys trying to hit where the Czechs are, but to no avail as the Czechs already backed off a bit. Now the German putting more reinforcement into the center, and also one more Tiger into the center, and 17-pounder, nope, it's backing off, with the Tiger stopping around this area. Few more mortars trying to cover up the forest as the Jaeger Pioneer and Stormtroop are firing against the FFL Fusiliers, and most of the infantry force that the Czech could bring are gone. Now the Husarok stops as the Pak-40 also tries to take down the Cromwell 6 with a backhand. Disadvantage, but the armor cracked. That does mean there's no more armor vehicle except for this Daimler and Crusader AA could stop the German forces around. Panzer Grenadier were pinned down by unknown targets, possibly a few more infantry, or the Vickers SMG when the Panzer Grenadier trying to cross the road. But no big movements up in the north. It's mostly up to the open area down the south where the Germans had a few advantage. 17-pounder tried to cross it, hitting that Tiger, and the driver is killed for the Tiger, where the Model 3, 2 Model 3s are coming and killing that Cromwell. Tiger were taken down. Pak-40 is coming in, firing a few more HE rounds as it could. Hujaro comes into the center. Will push a little bit further for the Germans. Model 3H gets a pretty good cross shot against the Crusader, and whereas down the southern hill, the Model 3H had a very good line of sight against the Cromwell 7 as well. But one of the Model 3 come down first. The more Model 1 and Model 3H trying to fire HEs at the infantry where the Daimler OB were being taken down by the Panzer 3. Few more Reiter Jaeger and P44 try to push forward to no avail. It's probably looking somewhere else around, where both sides are still reinforcing down south. More Churchill and Churchill 7 are coming in for the Czech, and a few more Panzer 3M coming for the German. 17-pounder and 6-pounder could still hold the road, but not so much as the P3N is coming in. MV4 10A3 comes for the scouts. Spitfire drops the bomb, which only suppressed the Reiter Jaeger, and the rudder damage from both flags down in the south. That will take quite some time to repair for the Spitfire, as the Czech are pretty much confined in the slope down there. P3N had a fuel suppression against the 6-pounder, which makes it easy for it to relocate to a safe position. Now the problem is when the German will take the hill, take back the flag in the center, with a few more AT support, Panzerschreck in the max range, the M3HT comes back and it appears to be running back. Panzerschreck did not get the position it wanted, and the M3HT with the Stuhl were forcing the German infantry to fall back. Boosterrock were being forced to fall back against the flamethrower that Zenitsa had. But most of all, we're coming back. Not a lot of, probably only a few that were being seen down in the south as we return our line of sight into the northern side, where the Czech reinforcements and their infantry are suppressing the Pentagon of the Stoßtrupp as they could, with the help of a few more armored vehicles of Daimler, ORB, and M3HT. Not much the German could do, unless he put the Reiter Panzerschreck forward, but it has to be off the... Yeah, it kind of has to off the building, because the Zenitsa is over there trying to look over. Thus, the Czech take a few more flags back, with also the Panzer IIIN were taken down by the Churchill 4. Thus looks like a few more trouble. Zenitsa were being bombarded by the 50mm mortar, and this P3N had a really decent place. Not only it's being covered by the AT gun back behind, and also at that crossroad he can overlook the whole valley, and as the Churchill 4 were being forced to bail out by the Pak 40 and the T-34-42. Usharok comes in trying to forcing the Zenitsa out. More smoke coming down into the forest. Usharok pushing in, Stoßtrupp pushing in. Farid has successfully taken the flag, one more flag around there, as the Me-410 up in the sky were being forced off by the Bolfers, which, yeah, only a few shots off, taking that scout plane off. More the reinforcement, more of the fireworks around. Firefights down into the center, where we're seeing Stoßtrupp throwing the Molotov cocktail against the N3 half-track, and Hucharok forcing the Zenitsa, who's already falling back, further back. The Reiterjäger trying to come in, firing those MP-44s that's a force to be reckoned with. The Panzerschreck got 2 shots off and hitting 2 hits, taking down both the armored vehicles in the area. Or we can still see, yeah, the Germans have completely cutting off the reinforcements and the retreat route of the Czech, as the Cromwell and Churchill 7 had their just trying to push their armored advantage against the enemy on the valley. There's no AT gun on the hill, but there is one, Pak 40, trying to overlook the road, with a Tiger E trying to overlook the whole slope. Most of the infantry up in the area were being pinned down, as the Spitfire trying to bombard the 50mm, but to no avail, and the Typhoon comes up, did not fire his rocket. They had to go for another run, and probably, well, as if it's lucky enough, hitting a Tiger or something else against them. Tiger is right now attacking against the Churchill with the help of the Pak 40, firing its APCR shell, shoot a kill for the Churchill. Both shells from the 75mm and the 88mm were bounced. 3 shots were bounced for the Churchill. Gets to survive the another few more shots around and trying to fall back on the slope. Yep, that's 5 shots bounced off. Pretty lucky for the Churchill to survive around this area. Typhoon comes up, trying to fire against the Panzer T-34, but it failed to see the target. Had to force to be fallen back. Scout plane comes up ahead for the Germans with not much. There's not much flak around for the Germans, but it still have excessive amount of tanks to be considered with. Colonel Koenig comes up with a Panzerschreck trying to cover off a few AT disadvantage. With the northern side, the Zenitsa were being pinned down as the Panzerschreck taking down the half-track. Stormtroop coming up, trying to go for a surrender, but it's being forced back by Daimler and fall back into the church. That's the northern side covered. We're back into the center where the German have completely recovered the center flag and taking a few more against the Czechs around. It's pushing in his Hutarov in against converted RAF. That is quite a huge game morale, but one of them down the south were being taken out. Were being fired at by the Cromwell 6, and the 95mm gun is still pretty dangerous against the Husarok. Now it's being pulled into the front. Very risky choice, but there's no AT around against the Germans to put them back, to put them a few more flak into the area. P3M getting a pretty decent spot to cover the slope. Wherever the converted gunner goes, it had to face some more armored firing. Some 75mm firing against them, alongside with a few more machine gun against that. Churchill comes in, finding a pretty decent spot, but it will be side shot by the Jagdpanzer 30AT. And Churchill did not spot that beforehand. That will be a quite a disadvantage, already being side shotted at once from the Hetta. And third shot, it's not APCR, it's AP, so we got pretty lucky with that AP shot. Kind of. And killing that Churchill from the front. All ground were covered by the Germans, and the converted RAF had to fall back, and not much Cromwell to cover them. Cover the reinforcements for the Czech. The Nitsa try to drop off. It's suppressed by machine gun back into the half-track, but the half-track were being completely shut down by the Panzer IIIN in the end. A lot more reinforcement coming in, 150mm back into the northern town, and more Leiterjäger MP44 for the Germans, where the Czech had already bring a GPF, a few more planes, the Firefly, finally back into order, and with some more scout infantry. More converted gunner UK down in the south. And more Churchills were being taken out by the 75mm gun that the German had. Daimler tried for a side shot to no avail. The Jagdpanzer sees it beforehand and takes that out immediately. With the Stuhl 81mm mortar, this looks like a very hard nut to crack for it. Never seen anyone use NATO symbols. Yes, I'm the one who uses that all the time. I could go back to using the RTS symbol for simplicity, but I would say that's my personal preference. And welcome here, Japasa. I'm trying to cover that, well, a bit rusty from the last SD2 stream, I think. Probably 2-3 years ago, maybe. I'm going right now covering a few SD2 coverage around. And we're seeing ME410 did a pretty decent job taking down the armored vehicle up in the north. And yeah, I've been covering a few more SD2 footage for the Chinese audience back in a few months ago, I think. And those were only like gameplay videos that I would like to cover in the past few tournaments against the Chinese, or in FOB, or inside the Discord for the monthlies. Right now I'm casting a few more other league games. I already had a set on the Chinese platform, so it would be worth to take a chat if you guys were interested. You can just DM me on Discord. But right now we're seeing Farid is asserting his dominance around. Up in the northern side as well, up in the center as well. Down the south, not so much, as Koenig tried to push back a few more with the Cromwell. But the anti-armor around here were pretty disastrous, as a lot. I mean, like 20mm are covering up that airfield pretty decently. But not enough to stop the Typhoon and Spitfire from letting go of their payload. 81mm mortar, something regular comes in instead of the 50mm. Two of them in the northern side. One of them will probably be taken down by the Czech. But right now, the German already took one more flag around here. Puts Koenig in a pretty bad position into sea face already. Then it's against Hujarog, where the Hujarog is certainly going off, but the HP difference might say otherwise. Few more converted gunners and converted IF drop off to go against this side. There's a SDK at 11 flag that's going against that. No infantry AT around this area, and the Zenitsa goes off. Panzer 3N goes off as well against the Cromwell 7. But the push into the hill for Farid were most likely a failure against the indirect fire by the 155mm and the Zenitsa around as well. Back into the north, 81mm, more Hujarog, more Husha Goryazolotog are coming in for the German. Hungarians are in as reinforcements, and that would pretty easily force the Czech infantry off the area had those Czech did not have enough armor advantage. There's only one Cromwell trying to push in, and the Stuart and the Crusader AA as their anti-air. But the armor for the German had to be careful because of the FFO Fusilier also had their H3 covering up in those buildings. We're coming back to the southern side. Most of the flag were being recovered into the valley. Most Reiterjäger were being shut down, pinned down by those. Cromwell 7 had a pretty decent room against it. Reiterjäger Panzerstreak taking down the Churchill 4 first, and the Cromwell was out of the range. With Hujarov and the biggest HMG are firing at each other. The Marder's trying to force in a few more armored back. The Cromwell 7 is taken out, but not the half-track. That's going to be the job for the Penta D34. Where it's being fired at by the Cromwell 7, it's a pretty much of a mess from north to south. But in the end, Farid recovered a few more. Yeah, Farid recovered a few more flags down the valley and up the hill too. Welcome, Dragon CZ. That was a very long gap of my stream as well. I would usually do stream a few more F1 games back then for myself. As well, the season of my F1 League is going off for a bit. I'm trying to coming back for my stream as well. So, on the open area, more tanks were being taken out for the Czech, including a Firefly and a Cromwell, as well around there by the Jagdpanzer and the Tiger. But the Cromwell 7 and Churchill 4 are trying to push up, taking out a few more vehicles down the valley. Still 15-9 for Farid. This will be a pretty tough task, and Stuhl is out of heat shell. It's being fired at by the Churchill 4. With the APCR shell, the Stuhl is down, but the Hetzer retaliation taking one more shot against the Churchill 4. Down the south, the infantry has taken the flag, with a few more for armor support down the south too. Moreover, there's Armada 1s coming in, center mostly, and on the open area as well. More Panzer Grenadiers trying to come in down in the southern flank for the Germans. They will be the force trying to recover it. There's still the M5A1, so it is the force to be reckoned with. Back in the northern side, Husharok and Stoss Troop has taken down both the FFO Fusilier in the south and taking one more flag for Farid. Hucharok coming in, taking a few more infantry down, but there's no infantry ATs except for Hucharok. And they were being pinned down by the M3HT and the M5A1 Stuart. More coverage around the north, not much around 81mm, trying to push a few more smoke inside it. No Panzerschreck in the area, no armor in the area. The T-34 were being taken down, or covering other flanks first. Yep, so it's going to be a pretty tough solution. So it's going to be tough to find a solution for the Germans to take him back a few more against the armor that the Czech would have. With the infantry side, it's pretty much of a mess for the Czech to deal with. 13-11, 14-10 for Farid, which the Haveneck still had slightly a few more armor advantage now in the south, with very little infantry to cover around. More Ersatz MG and Grenadier DP trying to cover things off, but attacking into the hill would be slightly harder without the control on the valley. M5A1 trying to cross the valley straight into the flag for the Germans. There's the Stu 42 trying to stop it as well. M5A1 being taken down by the H3, kind of a rare sight. But it does mean it is, well, going to be taken down by the M3. Not much. ME410 comes to rescue, as the Crusader AA did not stop it in time. More Motor Fusilier, Motor Slurkey, Boyova Hilika round. Trying to cover the center. As the ME410 taken down by the Bolfers. Heta, indestructible Heta, unless being side-shotted, but there's no side-shot opportunity for the Czech at this corner around. The Churchill Devon may come up forward on the open. That's going to be spotted by the Tiger and Marder and the Jagdpanzer. It's going to be pretty hard to turn its back. Two side shots decided the fate of the Churchill. Panzer Grenadier coming in alongside the half-track. One of them already been taken down, but the converted gunner had a few more coverage advantage against the Panzer Grenadier that would disable the infantry, but not the half-track. FFL usually Marines are trying to give a few more coverage. While on the open, the Germans take back the advantage again, with a few more Bedford trucks being taken out by the Su-42, and Koenig had to surrender this game. 26 minutes and 12 seconds for Farid to take the first of its BO2 victory against Koenig 42. It was a 2,675 points against Koenig's 2,185. Taking the kills, yes, the Czechs are still pretty decent at holding down against the open early on with the 6-pounder and the 17-pounder as well, which took down multiple tanks and tank destroyers. But it proves to be a little too much for the Czechs to handle, especially when the mortar and infantry comes into play. Few more Cromwell kills for the few more Cromwell killers for Koenig, but it's not too much. Where the Crusader AA taking down 2 ME410s would be one of the highlights. For the losses, for the kills for the lead, Jaeger Pioneer did an extraordinary job down in the south and also on the hill. That would do a lot of the damage, with the P3 and the Model 3 Edge taking down multiple soft targets and a few more armor, and the Pack 40, very first Pack 40 up on the open area that would take care of the Cromwell and Churchill, which, being lucky, of course, it being lucky against the Cromwell 6, making the gunner kill on the first shot. Other than that, We're seeing a few more heads to kill list on the way down in the south. Few more multiple Churchill being taken out. Of course, some were being lucky because frontally, it's going to be pretty hard for Jagdpanzer 38C to killing off with its AP without APCR opening. Actually, few more armor kill on the north by the MA410. That does pay itself off. Then a few more heads to kill list against Cromwell's. Ushalog Model 1 also doing pretty decent damage. And still 42 on the center against the reinforcement that Czech could bring and did an extraordinary job on dealing with them. It's a bit rare to see heads are going pretty well, of course, and to be honest, the Czech failed a lot of the side shot chances against the heads around that area. Could say Farid did that micro pretty well in that for that aspect. So that was the game 1 complete.